Well. You didn't think you'd see me here today, huh? Late Sunday night, I finally managed to break my addiction and film this video for y'all. This chapter was definitely a bit more informative. This chapter really illustrates just how much actual raw chaos is happening right now, and with the reveal that Mirio is indeed fully back. It's not Toga, it's not a finesse. Mirio is indeed back. We get a lot of character moments here in this chapter to just continue to make this arc the best My Hero's ever done thus far. Also, this arc, now hitting this chapter, becomes the longest arc in My Hero. It surpassed the Shihai Sakai arc a few chapters ago, I believe, in there, plus or minus a few. And let's go ahead and hop into chapter 295, called Hero Saturated Society. So we kick it off here with the reveal that Mirio is indeed back. And we see that when Mirio learned that they're going to be doing the big operation, he wanted to be of help. And he's been training Eri all this time on lizards and insects for this specific moment when she can give him his quirk back. And a really cool moment here is when Mirio is being Mirio, and he says, Eri-chan, I'm sorry if you feel like I'm just using you for your quirk, but could you please test your rewind on me? And Eri, with borderline tears in her eyes, and she is smiling, says, don't apologize, this is what I trained for after all. And this, my friends, is really, I don't know, big, sweet, you know the words, right? Because Mirio then says, thank you, Eri-chan. And we cut back to him absolutely beating the living shit out of some Nomu. Alright, this is huge right here, because one, not only is Mirio back fully, he has his quirk back, right? That's a good moment, you know, Lemillion coming out of retirement. But two, we finally have Eri knowing how to use her quirk, like, correctly, right? So Mirio has shown up on the battlefield, kind of like the figure of hope. Kind of, you know, he's the figure of hope. He's the reinforcements. We get to see his character come back, and he's also a symbol of Eri finally being able to control her quirk and not rewind someone into oblivion. So a lot of things molding here together for Mirio. He's sure as hell fighting for a worthy cause here. An interesting thing here, though, is that Mirio says he doesn't have the power to one-shot these Nomu, so he's going to need backup. And of course, we then see a massive amount of explosions come from behind Mirio and murder the ever-living shit out of the Nomu. Now, we know that Best Genist can't help Mirio right now because currently he's tied up Makia. Endeavor and Todoroki are currently tied up with Dabi, and Deku can't move. Bakugo is borderline on the verge of death, and we have Nejire, who's very tired, and Ida is here to support Mirio. So we then see the explosions come out and hit some Nomu, and we then see the big epic reveal of Bakugo saying, that sense of emergency I felt at the brink of death, that sensation I felt the first time. And I use this picture as a thumbnail for my spoiler video because this is such a good picture, because Bakugo has managed to get up. Who knows how mortally wounded he is. I don't believe there's any healers on the battlefield. And he is still moving. We then see a huge chaotic shot as we see Genist attempting to hold Makia, as Mirio, Ida, Bakugo, and now Nejire are basically covering him from the Nomu that have appeared so he can restrain Makia. And this is where we also get a really good moment here, because Genist says, have you returned from the world of the dead, Bakugo? And Bakugo says, he says, that was just a placeholder name. I was saving the real deal for you. And Bakugo's official hero name is God of Explosive Destruction Dynamite. Plus or minus a few translations here. Obviously, this is not, the direct translation, but Dynamite and God of Explosive Destruction, it's along the same wavelength, right? So just know that Dynamite is probably around the area of Bakugo, but do know that this could subject to change as direct translations come out. We then see everyone reacts to it, right? Gina says another dud, Ida says too long, Nijiri says chaotic, Mr. Compress says tacky, and Spinner says kind of cool, and the Mirio just laughs because he's Mirio. He says, that's a good hero name, it's pretty funny, and then Bakugo, of course, says it's not meant to be funny. So we then pass back to the Todoroki and Dabi fight, right? And basically what happens here is the Endeavor is standing kind of completely, he's shook. That's the only thing I can say, is he is shook. Dabi has grabbed Todoroki in what looks like to be like a bear hug, and he is rapidly increasing the flames to kind of, I guess, essentially burn them both. And we see Dabi saying, even when his masterpiece, his greatest doll, is about to perish by his own failure's flames, he's totally broken. And then, Todoroki says, blah, 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 oh, but your body will burn. And this is big right here. This is where we get to see Dabi kind of losing it here, kind of going insane, because he says, you've grown up to be so considerate. I'm happy for you, little bro. I'm fine, in fact. I'm overjoyed right now. And then we get that beautiful drawing of Dabi. So this is what I'm saying here, is we're getting a lot of good art pieces because we're getting a lot of character moments, right? We've had the Mirio character moment where that art was in last chapter, but he embodies a bunch of ideals. Bakugo finally giving his hero name a genist and getting up from his mortal injury. That character panel was absolutely beautiful, and this Dabi panel looks like Shigaraki. I thought this was Shigaraki upon initial spoiler, but it's not. It's Dabi. And he says, Shoto, if you burn up in my flames, I wonder what kind of face dear old dad will be making then. And my God, it is such a good panel as Dabi is slowly enveloping himself in what is presumably blue flame. But then, all of a sudden, before Dabi can do the deed, he is hit by what looks like a blackish blast. Now, obviously, if you know the spoilers, you know what this is, and that is Deku has finally gotten up and moved. He says Genist has got other people to support him. I'm going to support Todoroki in his fight. And we see that even though Deku can't move his arms or his legs, he has trained himself, just like Tsuyu, to use Black Whip with his mouth. So he used Black Whip with his mouth to hit Dabi off of Todoroki. That's pretty sick. All right, Deku has just gone above and beyond creativity levels here. He, an actual 99 creativity. It's actually insane how Deku is still fighting despite not having any, movement in any of his limbs. Of course, Dabi says the typical villain shit where he's like, don't be rude, meddle in other people's families. And this is where we get to see the Dabi and Deku, their philosophies clash. Because Deku says, I'm meddling because Todoroki is a precious friend and Endeavor's mentor made me stronger. And then Dabi says the past just doesn't disappear. That's why the present Endeavor is making an effort. That's the Endeavor I'm watching. So Deku and Dabi are obviously clashing because they believe in different things. And then Deku says, you are not Endeavor. And this is when Endeavor kind of has this character moment where he finally comes to terms with what's happened. And here is the Dabi villain speech. All right, now this is going to be a bit long, so bear with me, but Dabi gives a full speech that ends up saying, but don't pity the likes of me at least a little. The consequences of the sins committed by a supposed apostle of justice, that's what I am. Evil will no longer prosper. Justice will crumble. All I've done is show all those susceptible people where to put the blame. Now the future that awaits is clear. All the lip service and ego stroking will vanish, and it will be chaos. And right when Dabi says that, Makia manages to break free of Genist's toils, as everyone understands how bad this truly is, as Makia has escaped. But right then and there, right before Makia could get any traction from breaking free of his tendrils, we see Endeavor shoot up and sock Makia right under the chin. And it is, of course, Endeavor. And right when we see that Makia suddenly feels numb and falls over, and everyone wonders what's happening as Makia realizes his strength is going. And that's when we get the reveal that Endeavor did the deed. Makia has been hit with an anesthetic, and he is on his way to unconsciousness. That's where the chapter ends. We get a flash of the mountain team, Kirishima, Momo, and Mina, as, well, just when you thought the heroes We're looking bad. They now have the advantage once again, as Makia is on his way out. Dabi most likely will get his ass beat by Todoroki and Deku Black Whip. Endeavor is now moving again. The rest of League of Villains don't have a chance. You're going to need Shigaraki to either wake up or you're going to need more Nomu because it's looking bad for the villains here. So that was this chapter. It was fueled by character moments and, emotional symbols and all that, sweet, lovey-dovey story jazz. But overall, it just keeps going on. It just keeps being fire. And once again, another beautiful chapter from the writer Horikoshi. And I will catch you guys next week for next week's spoilers, as My Hero is once again not on break. Horikoshi is going hard for the holidays, boys. And these chapters are definitely going to be great. Hopefully, anyway.